All right, we got another East West live. We're on week 11. As always, we got Walt Stringer and Kendall Whitley. Man, what's going on, fellas? Week 11, man.
Going on? What's going on, man? Season is fastly approaching, coming to an end. We almost a little bit past the midway point. What is this, week 11?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
man, we got some big games on the dot to talk about today, and let's see what we can do.
So,
Yeah, man. I'll just say I'm very, very excited now, man. Very excited. Lions 7-2, Cowboys winning. Patriots got going on what they got going on, but I will say this: like, there's you don't want to be in purgatory. So the
Hmm.
Patriots, at least, they're not in purgatory.
That's the bright
Cowboys
side
and
of it.
Cowboys and Lions is winning. Patriots in a situation right now where they're pretty much competing for maybe the top pick in the draft. They got the ability to really rebuild their franchise and turn
Yep.
things around. So if you're not winning, you want to at least be there. You don't want to be stuck
You
in the
don't want to
middle
be
with
in the
winning
middle
7 to 8 games and not going nowhere. So sometimes you got to bottom out in
making
order
the
to really
same
see the
predicament
light.
next year if you're in purgatory.
true.
Exactly,
Hey, we
exactly.
we got some comments already. We got Stephen White. Hi, y'all. And
Yep.
he's currently in El Paso, Texas. And he said he yeah, pretty much. And what? With the crying emoji. He's ready this morning, man. Look, here we go. He said, drinking delicious coffee and smoking the crippler. All right. It seems like barbecue ribs would be the feast today, he says. Man, he's writing all kinds of stuff, showing magic numbers 88 on TV now. Uh-oh. He's got a lot to say this morning. Let's get some theme music going. That's funny. Richmond, north of Richmond. It's got a lot of stuff, man. If it's true, almost okay. So he's got some crying emojis in here. He said, "Put the sweet bread down, gentlemen.
The who?
The sweet bread. It's a thing. We drink coffee and sweet bread. Never heard of that? It's a one man show here. Nope, it's not. We got all three here. It's been a while. I got plenty of material. No worries. Okay." And then at the end, he put the fire emojis, man. Javier, Ken, Walt, let's go. Well, let's get it kicked off, man. Let's start off with we're just gonna get into it. Uh, Number one, let's recap Thursday night's game. What did y'all think? Start off with you, Walt.
Man, I thought it was awful for Cincinnati, man. They were already facing an uphill battle, dealing with the fact that if they lost another game to Baltimore on Thursday, ultimately they would probably be done. Losing that tiebreaker already to Houston last week, now they lose the quarterback for the rest of the season. Like I said, I think that's terrible for them. You saw what happened to Cleveland. So, what happened with Cleveland, people thought that ultimately Cincinnati would have the door open for them. They'll get them moving forward, but things didn't work out that way for them. Baltimore won the game. Period. They just keep on winning. That's really all they need to do right now. We expect Cleveland to fall off, expect Cincinnati to fall off without their quarterback. So by default, those boys may go ahead and move forward. But I think there still leaves a lot to be desired for Baltimore with that offense in certain situations. I don't know about you guys, but do you still really feel confident that Lamar will go out there and do it until you see him actually go out there and do it in the playoffs? Because
Yeah,
the road has gotten a lot easier, I think, with Cincinnati. We believe they're being taken out of it. You never know. We've seen backups step in, perform well in situations like this, but we don't believe Jake Browning is going to come in and do that. I don't believe so. What do you think about Baltimore? I mean, is it just Kansas City? Are they the class of the AFC now because Buffalo is going through what they're going through right now? And Miami's kind of falling off a little bit. So is it Baltimore and Kansas City? Or is it Baltimore over Kansas City?
I think it's Baltimore and Kansas City right now. Got to see what Jacksonville can do. Buffalo got a lot of stuff going on. Cincinnati, they they just lost really their season with Bird, but we have. I mean, they. I think Jake Brown's in a good predicament with all those weapons they got there. They can get healthy. Keep in mind, nobody's talking about this, but Baltimore got banged up too. Odell Andrews going to be out for the season for the most part. So, and that's Andrew. That Andrews is Lamar's one of his main guys. Zay Flowers is a rookie. Odell finally had a big game, first 100-yard game. I don't know how long, but they got some players there. I think right now with Joe Burrow. I actually thought Cincinnati was going to win that game had Burrow not gotten hurt. I think Cincinnati hold on to win that game. But in the end, you seen what happened. Jake Browning came in, he's a backup. But I think now they got like a mini bye week. They get T. Higgins back, Chase. It's not gonna look like Burrow, but I think they can be a problem a little bit. You still got because they got weapons. It ain't like he just come into a situation where they don't have nothing around them. Back to your question about Baltimore, it's tough because Baltimore's been they've been inconsistent. You lost games on the final plays and the overtimes to the Steelers and to the Colts. Then you lost to they just lost to Cleveland. So I think they still need a finisher on the defensive side of the ball, somebody to get after the quarterback. It seems like every time losing a game, it's on the final play. It's in the final possession or whatnot. So it's going to be interesting to see what Baltimore can do. I hate that Mark Andrews injury because that's going to hurt them. Now you got to depend more on Rashard Bateman, Nelson Aguilar, Zay Flowers, a rookie, Odell Beckham. Can you count on Odell Beckham giving you 100 yards every week? I don't think you can really count on that. So I think if any team that I'm gonna mention that in a second, but if any team has really won the weekend, you know who it is? It's a team we haven't mentioned, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have not looked good at all. But look at them. If you look at their schedule, they got the Browns today. They should win it, but we don't know. The Browns got good defense.
Yeah.
Then they got Cincinnati, and then they got to play Arizona or something like. They got a bunch of backup quarterbacks. They got to play Baltimore again. Then they got 2 meetings with Cincinnati. Then you got to play the Patriots. They should beat them in Pittsburgh. Like they play a bunch of. They don't play a starter until I think they play like Lamar. I think. Well, I think they still got to play Kyler Murray, I believe. But they got a pretty much an easy schedule the rest of the way. So Pittsburgh can end up winning 10, 11 games. I think they got 6 wins. They
With
can.
with that quarterback though.
Hey, look who they could be playing against though.
Look how they play though. Like they play some very, very, I ain't gonna call it Iowa football offensively, but they play some very, very close to the
It's
best
working
games,
though,
man.
Walt. It's
And
working.
even if you're playing against like lower tier teams, during this time of year, if they're healthy, they will jump up and bite you. Like they have what? So where's Pickett now? Like quarterback, well, he's the second best quarterback in the division now.
With the current quarterback, yeah, you gotta say probably second best quarterback.
Yeah. Is it a possibility though, with what Cincinnati has in place defensively, as well as the running game and the wide receivers, the weapons you mentioned? Is it possible Browning can step right into that and just steer the boat? Now they're gonna need either the offensive line to step up some, even though Drake he can escape a little bit more.
I like
He
what
will
I
get
seen
out
from him
run
in
a
the
little bit
preseason.
more, but
I think they played Green Bay in the preseason. I like what I seen from Browning or whatnot. But
yeah, somebody got to step up though, major.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, we got Raphael Douglas. What's up, big brother at Walt? He also said the guys, right? Stephen Wise says Ravens lost the right end. That was a big hit. I want to say tight end. I think he meant Houston. I think we'll get to that. Tight end, I meant. Yep. And then he said, yeah, Pittsburgh trending up. Okay. So let's get into the rest of the teams. So we got Steelers at Browns. That's the 1:00 game. Who you guys got?
Man.
Oh boy. Them two teams.
I want to go with Pittsburgh, but I've seen too many times when Pittsburgh when they're favored, like they were favored against Houston earlier this year, and they lost that game big time. But Houston, that wasn't no joke loss now because Houston looks good. But I'm gonna take Pittsburgh in a close one. This is gonna be like a defensive slobber knocker game. I'm going like a 17-13 game Pittsburgh Steelers late.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, Stephen White got it right. I'm going with Cleveland too. I think Thompson and whoever they decide to play a quarterback is going to catch Pittsburgh off guard. Regardless of whichever quarterback they decide to play, ultimately for the entire game, they both can get out there and move. They can throw on the run. They can create. They can make things happen. Garrett is the best defensive player in football right now. It's going to be tough for that offensive line keeping him off of Pickett's behind, honestly. So Pickens going through what he's going through right now with the team. I don't know if he's feeling the team. I don't know if he's not feeling the quarterback, whatever it may be. And Cleveland has proven one thing: they can score. They can manufacture some points now, and they do it defensively. I just think Cleveland right now is better. Yep.
This game in Pittsburgh?
No, it's in Cleveland.
Yeah, that's right. Because they played on Monday Night Football. Yeah, I'm gonna take Pittsburgh. I don't feel good about it. But keep in mind, Pittsburgh travels though. They fan base travels.
What's the spread on the game?
That I don't know.
Kendall, you supposed to know this offhand, man.
But Steelers at Browns. I'm gonna take Browns. I'll take Browns. Next one we got, guys. It's pretty interesting game, right? So we're coming on to I believe a two win streak with the Raiders with their new coach Antonio Pierce. They're looking good. It looks like they're having a lot of fun, man. So Raiders at Dolphins in Miami. Who do you guys got?
The fun stops today. Miami beat. The fun stops today. And look at
Kendall,
these two wins.
Kendall, they're playing very good, man.
Harvey, they played the Giants and they played the New York Jets.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter,
Look
man.
at the turmoil they went through, man. To win two straight games with the quarterback, your coach being fired.
Let's come back to this after the game.
Look, I'll just say this, right? And I'll let you guys finish. But, there's a couple of coaches when I look at a leader of men, and that's Bill Parcells, I think, in my opinion, right? Mike Tomlin, Dan Campbell, and I think Pierce kind of falls into that thing. So I'll just leave it at that.
I'm going Dolphins big.
I'm gonna go Dolphins in the tight game. No. Yeah, I got Dolphins. They're coming off a bye week
too.
Oh, they're coming off a bye week, yeah. Man, I'm gonna go with the Raiders, man.
What?
I think the Raiders are gonna win. I think they're gonna scheme it up, man, and I think they're gonna slow down Ochita. I'm gonna go with the Raiders. The only reason I say that is because I think the momentum of this team, man, like just the way they're playing, I'm telling you, man, it's just a different team, and I think they're in it to win it. So, next game, I'm gonna leave one of those games at the end for Walt. So we're gonna go into the AFC South. We got Titans and Jaguars at Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. I'll take Jags.
Take Houston. I think
Titans?
Houston's playing.
Titans at Jack.
Oh, Titans. Oh, I thought he said Texans. Sorry about
Titans. Titans.
Nah, I'll take Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
They got to bounce back from last week.
Yeah, they didn't play very well, man. So I'm gonna go with the Jags as well. Now we got Chargers at Packers and Green Bay.
Chargers. Go Chargers.
Ooh. That's an interesting one.
Packers haven't been playing very well.
Who did Green Bay play last week?
They lost to Pittsburgh.
It lost to Pittsburgh. Okay, yeah. Yep. I take the Chargers. It's a 1:00 game, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I always fear those West Coast teams flying over like that, but I'm gonna go with the Chargers. Close game though. I think it's gonna be an interesting game.
I'm gonna take Green Bay. I'm gonna take Green Bay. I just got a weird feeling about it.
Mm-hmm.
Weird feeling about it. Not that I think Green Bay's better. Love has performed well in spurts for them. He just made some big time mistakes.
Yep.
He's not a guy who has 3 years experience. He didn't play his first 3 years or whatever. So he's going to still make relatively rookie type mistakes. But he seems to be a lot better, a lot more comfortable at home right now, which would be expected for a quarterback of his age and experience right now. And then the way the Chargers lost last week, there were a ton of bad defensive mistakes.
I was just about to say that Chargers.
A ton of them. So is that, is it Staley, who's the defensive coach from the Rams? Is it the coordinator? Is it the personnel? Is the personnel not being used correctly? I just saw, like, for Detroit, we're good. We ain't that damn good. Like, they had a lot of big time mistakes. And I can see Jordan Love and those young receivers taking advantage of those same mistakes. So I'm going to take Green Bay.
I think the Chargers have to keep up with those other teams on the AFC, man. I think the Chargers beat the Packers. I think they're more talented. They should win this game, but, there's a reason why they play the game. Stephen White says Chargers 30-13, so he's
Raiders and Broncos trending up.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, next one we got Cardinals at Texans.
Ooh-wee.
Upset of the week. A lot of people probably wouldn't think it would be an upset.
Is that your upset?
Yeah, I got two possibilities. I get to the other one when we get to that game. But I'm going with you ain't gonna believe it. But I'm going with the Cardinals. I'm going Kyler Murray's bad. A lot of people you look at it like, it's probably not an upset because Kyler Murray, CJ Stroud, Kyler Murray coming back. Texas coming off a big win last week against the Bengals. Cardinals come off a win. They rally behind Kyler Murray. Texans getting fat, full, satisfied, feeling good about themselves. I'm going with the Cardinals to win. That's how young teams do. Everybody talking about them and all this. And I like what CJ Stroud said this week about they like you one week, hate you next week. I like that mentality, but I'm going with the Cardinals today.
Nah, I think Kyler, you can tell the difference in that team when Kyler's out there for sure. They're a big-time playmaking offense when he's out there. I think Houston's playing better right now on both sides of the football. They're making the right decisions. They're not turning the ball over at all, which is huge for a young football team. I think a testament to DeMeco Ryans and the type of culture he's brought there for that team. I think it's going to be tough for them to really throw the football on Houston. You know, they don't generate a ton of pressure up front. They can manufacture some pressure and get some sacks, but they do a good job against the pass. And considering the fact that they don't really have, in Arizona's case, a big-time receiver or even a big-time two right now, they just got a bunch of guys. It's going to be tough for Kyler to really get anything going downfield. He's going to have to run more. And I don't think that's to his benefit against Houston. So, yep, and I think that defensively Arizona can't do anything with Houston right now. It's not going to work. Not going to work at all, man. So I'm going with Houston also. I'll throw a score out there too. See, me and Steven lockstep on the last two games. I'm going to go with Houston probably somewhere around 30-24.
Okay, that's what Stephen White says. But you know what's interesting is that Houston's been playing pretty good as of late. And what's interesting to me, and as I really didn't pay attention, was Petrie and Stinger are back. I think they were back.
Stingley?
Stingley, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that's insane that now they're back and they for the season. So I think Houston starts making a run. I think the Texans in Houston and they're playing well. And to me, CJ Stroud, I wasn't a big fan of Bryce Young. I still think he needs a lot of weapons, and I think CJ Stroud is ahead of him for the simple fact that he's got Schultz as a security blanket, man. Those guys are balling out. Noah Brown, Tank Dell. I think he's got a good core, and I just think it's too much for the Cardinals. All right, moving on, gentlemen. We got Giants at Commanders.
Ooh-wee. Is Danny DeVito starting again?
Yes.
I know it ain't Danny DeVito. I don't want to clown him.
Yeah, I know you're saying.
Yeah.
Giants said I'm going to go with the Commanders, but I'm hoping the Giants come through for me. Not from the X's or O's standpoint, and logically, but just from a draft standpoint. I need the Giants to win this game and win a couple games because we do play the Giants next week in the toilet bowl or whatnot. So the Patriots do play the Giants this week. I do need the Giants to come through for me and just pull an upset. Please beat. They beat Washington today. That'd be good as a Patriot fan. But logically, I'm gonna go with Washington.
Washington.
Okay.
I think they're in a better position right now.
Yeah.
And Sam Howell's look good when they can, keep them protected.
The passing leader in the NFL, Walt.
I think he's the future for them. He's the guy.
I believe so.
You got to continue to build around him.
Yeah, I think I'll take the Commanders as well. I think overall they're just quarterback position. They're having a little bit of trouble over there at the Giants. Next matchup, we got Buccaneers at 49ers. So in Santa Clara.
Trap.
You think so? It's a trap?
Trap. It's going to be funny. It's going to be funny because I don't think Frisco is going to be able to run the ball on Tampa at all. So it's going to be fun to see how that offensive passing game develops. Now, I could be wrong. Tampa's been solid. They've been solid against the run this season. So, I don't know. I looked at this game a few days ago and said the same exact thing to myself. Like, Frisco could lose this game. Because all it takes is a couple big plays to Mike Evans.
Yeah.
And then a play here and there, and then a offensive miscue by the other team, 49ers or whatever. And you can beat Frisco if you can lure them into a regular football game. Frisco likes to come at you in waves, and they do it early. And if you can't withstand those waves early, you'll find yourself down 28-0, 24-3 in a heartbeat. But if you can withstand those waves and limit those waves and keep them into like a physical possession-on-possession football game and force some punts here and there, you can beat Frisco. I think that's how Cleveland beat them. I mean, a little luck came into it too, I think also. But Minnesota beat them that way. They kept them thrown off rhythm the entire game. So I think Frisco got to prove they can really win those close games against good competition too. That's why that game against Philly is going to be huge for them.
So who do you got, Walt?
I don't know.
San Fran.
You got San Fran?
No, you know what? I'm upset. I'm going to take Tampa.
Ooh, that's your upset?
I'm going to take Tampa.
Okay.
Yep.
What you said 49ers, Ken?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 49ers too, man. And in Santa Clara, I think they win. I think that defensive line is too much for Baker Mayfield, but you never know, man. Evans, I'm not gonna lie, I would throw the ball up to Evans every time if I was him. But moving on with the AFC East, we got Jets and at the Bills with the matchup. Man, the Bills have not been looking good, man. They have not been playing good ball. And I'll leave you with this so you guys can continue. But you know, after looking with the Bills and listening to Walt all this year, I kind of have. I think he's put it in my ear a little bit, but I have a feeling he's right, man. I think this team is peaking a little bit. It's kind of weird. I'm talking about the
Buffalo.
Bills. It just feels like that, man. I think you've seen the best of the Bills. I might be wrong.
As currently constructed.
Yeah, I think the way Walt put it, man, I think he's right. I think they're peaking, man. But I'll leave you guys with that. That's my feeling on it. For me, I think I'll take the Bills. I think they need it more than the Jets do. I think there's more on the line with them, so I'll take the Bills.
I'll take Buffalo in a very close game.
Yeah, I don't know. Historically, in Josh's career, he hasn't played too well against the Jets. We remember the Monday night game? Beginning of the season, week 1. Yeah. I don't know. This game is huge for Buffalo. You know, you fired Ken Dorsey. You had the goof ups on the last possession of last week's game.
Trayvon Diggs talking out about Stephon Diggs and Josh.
Yeah, giving up the 26-yard pass interference call, which put them in field goal range, and the 12 men on the field. And
I can't wait for this game.
The scapegoat and Ken Dorsey in the whole situation, and the national media being all over Josh Allen and the interceptions, and he's heard about the amount of turnovers he's had his entire career since coming to the league. This is not the defense for him to bounce back against. I think it's going to be very difficult for him. Now, if Josh is really made of it mentally, he'll go out there, he'll ball, he'll get through it, and Buffalo get this win. If not, then we go out there and we see another 3 or 4 turnover type game from Josh Allen, and then everybody's going to really start to question whether or not he's the guy. Personally, I feel he's the guy. I do. I think he's still young enough. He's physically talented enough. That right arm ain't going nowhere no time soon. Now, if they can learn how to get him to play in the pocket within the structure a whole lot more, he'll be better. He'll stay a lot healthier. They'll win more games. But I'm going to go with the Jets.
You said all day you're going to take that.
You know why, man? Because, dude, it's too much going on with them right now. If you look at the Jets are a good football team. They just got a quarterback that just can't figure it out for nothing.
Joe Brady calling the plays now, I think. He was with LSU. He was with Carolina. So I got Buffalo winning this. Not a blowout, but a close game. This is the divisional foe, so you don't find too many blowouts in this setting. I'm going Buffalo, close one. And one interest, I think Josh Allen has thrown interceptions like six straight games or something like that. Yeah. So he's a turnover. He's going to throw you one. You just got to catch it.
You know what was also interesting to me when I was watching the Bills and Broncos game was, I think when the Bills got the ball last, before the Broncos got the ball to win the game, they ran the ball, I believe, 7 out of 8 times, and they scored. So to me, man, it just doesn't make any sense for me to have my quarterback throw all these passes the whole game when you have a really good running back, and they just didn't use them until the very end of the game. So, but to me, Sean McDermott lost that game defensively. I think Walt was right. Ken Dorsey was just a scapegoat. But I blame that game on Sean McDermott and the defense, and that falls on him. So we'll see what happens, gentlemen. Now we got AFC or NFC West. We got Seahawks at Rams. Who do you guys got?
I'm gonna go with Seattle, but I don't feel good about it. Rams beat them I did not feel good about it. Had Rams not did it to week 1, I was like, okay, but no. And Rams coming off a bye, I think. Last time I played was against Dallas, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Rams coming off a bye, so I don't feel good about it. She gave Sean McVay extra week to prepare. You know he can cook up. Oh, I'm gonna go with Seattle, but I don't feel good about it.
I'm gonna go with Seattle. I think Seattle needs it more than the Rams right now. It is a divisional game, so the Rams could jump up and bite them. But I'm gonna go with Seattle. You know, they need a good showing. Gino has been really up and down. He has those middle streaks of the season where for 3 or 4 straight games he'll look real average, maybe in some cases below average. Gino gets rattled. He gets rattled real easy, man. And it's easy to throw him off his game, but
It's
talent
like he
wise, he
always
can make.
have like a game clinching drive in the hand and to seal it though.
Yeah, he will against certain teams like
So,
Detroit.
so interesting fact that I didn't know. Right, I was live the other night, and a Seahawks content creator was on TikTok, and he said the reason they're struggling is because their offensive line is hurt.
Yeah, they are.
So
They
that's
are.
pretty interesting. I wasn't tracking that, but he said that's the major weakness right now on that team is that they have a lot of injuries on the offensive line. Not to
Stop
make an
throwing the ball
excuse,
so much. Then.
not to make an excuse for Geno Smith, but yeah, they having some major
Dude.
issues on the offensive line.
There was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Cleveland game a few weeks ago where they won by one possession, but they had, I think they averaged almost 11 yards per carry.
Yeah.
And those two running backs, Charbonnet and the other running back from Michigan State,
Walker.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker III. They only had, I think, barely 20 yards, 20 carries between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes completely back to what I always say about head coaches. Are you putting your team in the best position to win the game? Or do you want to win your way? Because you could have easily ran Cleveland out of the building. And I think that's a big problem a lot of coaches have, a lot of OCs have as well. I don't know if it's an ego thing or whatever. That's what makes Detroit, the way Detroit built so solid, because Detroit is willing to use their offensive line and win the game based off of that. You know, a lot of head coaches, a lot of OCs don't want to win the old school way. They don't want to win with 30 carries, 32 carries. If it takes that to win the game, you go ahead and do it. So, and
Yes,
like I said, that's a big issue for Seattle. If you know Geno's struggling and you know the offensive line is struggling, run the ball more.
Yeah.
Stop giving him 28, 29, 32 attempts.
Stephen White says running backs in Seattle are mighty, and
yes, they are.
And we got a comment on TikTok says Coach High says Aaron Donald will scare the hell out of Geno.
He did. Yeah, he did that first game.
But all right, moving on, gentlemen. We got I'll give you my pick. I think at the end of the day, I think the Seahawks should win this game, even though it's in SoFi Stadium. So Vikings at Broncos, interesting, right? I think both of these teams are coming off winning streaks, right? The Broncos beat the Chiefs, and they beat who did they beat last? Buffalo. So interesting, right? They could make a run. I mean, they're playing pretty good. The Vikings as well with Josh Dobbs, he's playing pretty good. So both teams coming off winning streak game. Who do you guys got?
I'm gonna take Denver in a close game.
It's at Denver.
Yeah, I'll take Denver closer.
Okay.
Whew. That's a major toss up.
It is
Josh Dobbs versus Russell Wilson. That playmaking Vikings offense, they just managed to get guys open, and I think Dobbs has done a great job, even back when he was with Arizona, of throwing guys open. You know, he'll turn the ball over. He'll give you some turnover worthy plays throughout the game. But oh boy, I think Denver has more playmakers on the defensive side of the ball, I think, right now. I'm willing to trust them at home. I think since they gave up the 70 points to Miami, they really buckled down defensively. They've been solid since that Dolphin loss. Russell's been good all season. People want to make fun of Russell for last season. Russell has actually statistically been a top 10 quarterback this year, just looking at the numbers. So it hasn't been his issue for them losing. I think Denver, even though both teams are kind of peaking right now, Denver's at home. Denver's a tough place to win, prime time, historically. I'm going to go with the Broncos in a tight game, maybe 17-14.
Man, look, I for whatever reason, man, I like Dobbs. I love that guy. I love what he stands for. I like everything about him. He's the smartest dude in probably the NFL and wants to play football. But I just like his passion, the way he plays. But you got Addison out there, all those shot. What's it? The tight end.
TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I just like what they have. I think getting another week under his belt, I think they're gonna beat the Broncos at Denver. So I'll take that one. But now we got the Monday night game, gentlemen. Or actually, before that, right? I saved one of the last ones for Walt. We got the Lions, right? Well, we got the Bears at the Lions. That's the 1:00 game, but I save it to second to last.
The Bears at Lions.
Yeah,
Minus 8.5.
Bears at Lions.
Lions.
You ain't gonna find a way to diss us, Kendall.
No, Lions. This is a game that Lions should win. These ain't your old Lions. This is a different Lions team. And who y'all playing on Thanksgiving?
Green Bay.
Green Bay. It's home. Yeah, it's home, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Detroit, Chicago. I mean, Detroit. I ain't even got to spend too much time.
Yeah, I think I'm going with Detroit as well. Not Arizona. Keep thinking about Arizona. We're talking about Arizona recently, but Justin Fields supposed to be starting today for Chicago. They're missing a couple running backs, possibly. I think they're top 2 running backs. Our defense has been struggled last week against the Chargers and Herbert. But that's Justin Herbert. That's Keenan Allen. That's Austin Eckler. That's that offense right there that can get explosive and put you on skates like that. I just don't see any way the Bears really win this game unless Detroit comes out and just plays completely out of character. Games that you can't really account for. 11, 12 penalties, 4 turnovers, stuff like that, goofy turnovers, stuff like that happening. Yep. So it's got to be Lions. I'm going to go Lions big. I predicted on my show yesterday 38-20, so I'm going to stick with that.
Stephen White's got 38-19 Motown Crazies.
See, okay, I had 38-20.
Hey, so yeah, I think at the end of the day, the Lions are playing good football, man. And in my opinion, if you look at it like this, as far as the Lions are concerned, their hands or their destiny are in their hands, man. This schedule they got coming, it's all up to them to make sure that they either stay the number 2 seed or the number 1 seed, and they have a chance of doing that. It's all up to them, and I don't think they're going to let it slip with Dan Campbell, man. I think the key to that game is if the Lions run the ball on the Bears and the Bears can't stop it, they can't stop the bleeding, it's going to be a long day, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. So, Montgomery's going to get his carries.
Yep. So I
I
think if you can't stop that, it's going to be a long day for you. Give me the Lions at home. Next one, we got Cowboys at Panthers. Who do you guys got?
Cowboys at Panthers. I'm going to go with Dallas, but this is not going to be like a runaway blowout like they've been doing.
It better be.
It ain't like they've been doing against the Giants, the Rams, and the Patriots, and these other teams. It's not going to be like that this game. This Panther team, they're bad. They have a bad record, but they got some talent. Yep. They got a defense. I think they're top 10, top 5 in the past.
J.C. Horn will not be playing.
And see, I was going. Yeah.
That was my dog, but he ain't never playing.
I wanted to see the J.C. Horn and CeeDee Lamb matchup, but
yeah,
good to see it. But Carolina, Dallas do come back to Carolina next year to play, so that's next year. But for this year, I'm going with the I'm gonna take Dallas in the close. If J.C. Horn played, Carolina's gonna be my upset over Dallas for the week. If J.C. Horn played, I was gonna go with Carolina, and once you said that, I changed that pick. So that's not going to work. I don't know who they. I think they got C.J. Henderson and Dante Jackson.
C.J. Henderson's out as well. C.J. Henderson is out with a concussion protocol.
Well, they got Dante Jackson and a couple other guys. I don't know, but nevertheless, I'm gonna take Dallas. Now it's gonna be a tough game, but I think they'll pull away the end, win by like 2 touchdowns, 28-14 or something like that.
I got Dallas big. I think Dallas is better than Carolina. I think that defense is a terrible matchup, chess match wise for Bryce Young. They don't have guys on the outside that can really challenge.
And then they changing the play caller back. They put like a ring around the musical chairs with the play calling, and they're going back to Frank Reich. It was Brown, now it's back. But I don't know what's going on there. But interesting note, Carolina did have a little bit extra time off to prepare for this game. I always be weary with those things, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. I'm gonna take Dallas in by two touchdowns.
I'll give my prediction. Now, you know what? At the end of the day, the Cowboys should win this game. But at the end of the day, you know how it goes. sometimes they have these trap games and they play to the level of their competition.
I
But
don't
we'll
think they
see,
do this
man.
week, but they learned with Arizona. I don't think
Yeah, I think they win big as well. Now going on to the big game of the week, gentlemen. This is going to be a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. Eagles at Chiefs in Arrowhead Monday night. Man, this is going to be a great game, man. Just so y'all know, if you catch the live real quick on Coach Eyes, he said Stafford and Cup will light it up. He also said Dobbs will light it up against Denver. He also said the Lions have played the most consistently all year. And then Coach I said Dallas 56-0. Enough said.
They got that man Frank Wright fired.
Yeah, so but yeah, gentlemen, Eagles and Chiefs, man, this is gonna be a great matchup. It's gonna be a hell of a game.
Yes.
What do you guys got?
I'm going Philadelphia. They get revenge from the Super Bowl. They sacked Mahomes a couple of times. They harassed Mahomes all game. Both teams coming off a bye. Not gonna be a blowout number. I'm going with the Chiefs. I'm going with the Eagles. They Philly win. AJ Brown gonna have a big game too.
Man,
Okay.
man.
So
I
Philly,
hate that
huh?
Dallas Goddard is out.
So
I hate that.
so yeah, Dallas Goddard's out. So before we get Walt's pick, right? Because me and Kendall already did our key matchups, right? So I'm gonna have Walt do his key matchups and then give us his prediction. But so the key matchups, Walt, tell me what you think, and then we'll get your prediction at the end. Eagles middle of the field versus Travis Kelce.
Well, if you go back to the Super Bowl, they were not able to really take away those not necessarily the whole shots, but those holes within the first 10 to 15 yards of the defense. That's the major thing right there. If you can't stop Kelce, if you can't protect the middle of the field from Kelce, that's their bread and butter. If you can take him away, the receivers are all inconsistent at best. One of the young guys may step up from time to time, but I'm going to go with Kansas City in that matchup right there.
Okay, so Kelce wins. All right, next one I got for you is Eagles pass rush versus Patrick Mahomes.
Ooh, oh man, it's gonna be interesting. It's hard. It's difficult on that one because the blocking scheme. I just keep going back to the Super Bowl because that's the last comparison we really had between these two teams.
Yeah.
They were able to put two guys on one guy consistently and use backs to chip a lot. Now, can they do that this time around? You know, with a guy like Jalen Carter being out there, there's a little bit added talent. I'm going to go with the Chiefs in that situation. Well, no, I'm going to take the Eagles simply because at the tackle position, the Chiefs are too vulnerable right now. That's the main thing I think for me. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Eagles in that.
Okay, and then we got that Eagles run defense versus the run game for the Chiefs.
Eagles run defense.
That was an
I think
easy
they
one.
did. I think they hold up in the middle of that defensive line
Yeah.
a whole lot better.
And then the last one, Jalen Hurts versus that impressive secondary.
Jalen Hurts versus the secondary. Oh boy, I think that there is going to come down to
What's
going back to
interesting?
the line of scrimmage.
What's
How do they handle Chris Jones? I think
I'm going to tell you, and that was part of one of them, but I didn't want to prolong it. But they're ranked. I think when I looked at it, 4th defensively.
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
I think it's going to come down to how do they handle Chris Jones, though.
Yep.
You know, if they can't stop Chris Jones from having a big impact on that defensive line, the secondary is going to be a whole lot better. Now, it's been proven over the past 6-7 games that stopping AJ Brown to even contain AJ Brown is kind of mute right now. He runs every route you need him to run. He gets separation. Even when he doesn't gain separation, he still catches everything thrown to him. He's physical. He's aggressive at the catch point. Like, he's everything you want in a number one receiver. And then you got a guy like Devontae Smith, who's the prototypical number 2. He can probably be a number 1 on a lot of other teams. He's the big-time playmaker. They were able, I think in the Super Bowl, and I'm going right back to the Super Bowl, Hurts hurt them bad.
Yep.
Running the football. So if it gets back to that again, I think that could be a big issue for them.
So
with that being said, I'm going to go with Kansas City in that situation because I think Yeah, as far as at the line, well, mainly because I don't think they're going to be able to handle Chris Jones in the manner they're going to need to. He's going to
Okay.
make that secondary a whole lot better.
Okay. All right. So, man, at Arrowhead against the Eagles, and the Eagles, I mean, both teams have kind of struggled, even though the records are don't seem that way. They kind of struggled
Yeah.
on either. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes at home. If this game was at Lincoln Financial, then I would probably go with the Eagles. But the scary part is Jalen Hurts knee braces off. I think he's feeling a lot better. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs in a really close game. It's probably going to be like 24-23, something like that. I think Stephen White said the same thing. Coach High says, I will call it here first, KC, in a blowout 35-17. Interesting. Okay. So Walt picked the Chiefs. Who did you get, Ken?
Well, no, I didn't pick the Chiefs to win the game. I was picking the Chiefs in that particular comparison.
Oh, that particular. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
So who's your?
I'm gonna take the Eagles.
You're gonna take the Eagles.
I'm gonna take the Eagles
Okay.
in a really tight game. I think this
Okay.
is a huge game for them, man. They need to prove, like the Dolphins needed to prove they could win those types of games against Philly a few weeks ago, and they got blew out. You have these types of games where Buffalo needed to prove they could beat Cincinnati a couple of weeks ago, couldn't do it. You know, you need these types of games. I think it's going to be a major game for them. Dallas understands the same thing playing Philly. Like, that's a monumental game for you guys. And Philly needs to beat them because they could very well see this team again in the Super Bowl with the way things are trending, possibly. So, game means more to Philly. I'm going to take Philly.
So interesting. So you guys kind of know, right? The both teams are coming off a bye.
Interesting, huh? So, NFL didn't pay that attention, huh?
I'm just saying, right? The other thing is the Eagles are about to go into this gauntlet of a schedule. At the end of that gauntlet schedule, they play the Cowboys. So if the Cowboys have an easier schedule, they win out. The Eagles don't. They lose a couple of games. It's going to be very interesting, right? The other thing is,
do you think they beat Buffalo? I think Philly's better now with Buffalo's current situation.
No, and I got you, but at the end of the day, sometimes when teams their backs are against the wall, they play a lot different. So we don't know. We got the schedule is going to be a gauntlet. The other thing is the Chiefs are still they're not outright number one right now because they got the Ravens right behind them. So and you also got the Dolphins, which they're kind of inconsistent, but for the most part, this is going to be a huge game for both teams. So with that, Ken, what do you got?
I got Philly winning.
You got Philly winning? Man, I'm the lone wolf, huh?
Yep.
I got Chiefs at home, so we'll see. Coach High says on TikTok, Andy Reid not losing on prime time Monday Night Football. So just throwing that out there. But anyways, all right, gentlemen, man, it's we had a big game on Thursday night. We have Monday night going live. Hey, if you guys are catching the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification. Make sure you subscribe. I'm going to go live on Monday Night Football on East West Football. We're giving away a hat of your choosing, whatever team it is. I'm giving away Madden 24. Make sure you like, subscribe on the channel. Gentlemen, give your plugs. Walt?
Oh, yeah, for all your Detroit Lions content, log right in on Facebook as well as LinkedIn, Lions Avenue. On LinkedIn, it will be my actual name, which is on the screen, Walt Stringer. Just look it up for all the content. Stephen White.
And Ken's Patch Talk on YouTube, on Twitter, IG, YouTube. Make sure you follow, subscribe, like, check me out. Live streams throughout the week. Not this. I just did a live stream the other day. Go check it out. But Patch on the bye week this week. So took the foot off the gas this week. We'll be starting back up Monday night with a special guest. Just check me out, Ken's Patch Talk on my YouTube.
And then, like always, man, you can catch me and Jerry at the Cowboys Cast everywhere. The YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We're everywhere, man. So. Last thoughts, man. Any last thoughts?
I want to see how Pittsburgh comes out today with all the injuries in that division. Baltimore losing losing Andrews. Cleveland losing Deshaun Watson. That division has taken a hit. Cincinnati losing Joe Burrow. Pittsburgh really the lone wolf in that division. Can they finally show something on offense? Now would be a good time, but they got an easy schedule. The rest of it playing a bunch of backup quarterbacks. The only star they really got is probably Lamar. And that's about it. But Pittsburgh is sitting in a prime spot. But let's see if they can come out today at 1 o'clock here shortly in a couple hours and put on a good performance and win in Cleveland. It's gonna be a tough one though. But yeah, I'm keeping my eyes on Pittsburgh Steelers today.
Yeah. Personally, I'm interested to see how the 6, 7, and 8 win teams, how do they keep winning the games down the stretch that they're supposed to win? Because it's tough to just keep winning in the NFL. You got to keep fending off a completely different team, different set of skill position players, rosters, coaching staffs on a week-to-week basis, and you're still expected to constantly win. So, yeah, it's I'm gonna say Detroit and Dallas are two teams I'm keeping eyes on because they're both in should-win situations today.
Yep.
Carolina and Chicago are two teams that I believe Dallas and Detroit are both better than, and they should relatively handle them. And I keep saying, I said it before the season started, I felt Detroit and Dallas was going to be on the collision course at some point in time heading into week 17. So I'm still pulling for Dallas to win because same as with us, I'm pretty sure you guys as Dallas Cowboy fans, you and Jerry want to see Detroit win. We want to see the best game possible.
Yeah.
And I believe, is it New Year's Eve? Or is it Christmas
Well,
Eve?
is CJG back?
Christmas Eve, I think.
Nope. That
Is he
torn
coming
pec
back?
is going to take a minute. He may, if they get to the playoffs or when they get to the playoffs, it's possible he could come back in maybe the second round if they got there that far. But no, he's not back right now.
I want to ask y'all something real quick. If the Jets lose these next two games, they got Buffalo today, and then they got Miami next week. You think the talk about Aaron Rodgers coming back and probably start to die down?
If he comes back from an Achilles before the season ends, it's some BS in the game.
And my thing, why would you want to come back?
I can't do it, man.
Why would you want to come back behind that offensive line?
Man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the talks will die down. I think they'll just try to come. They'll probably be worse, so they could try to make the playoffs. I think that it'll make it just worse. Coach High says, "Thanks, great show, guys. So I appreciate you guys." But yeah, what Walt said. Look, everybody knows I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. You'll never see me wear another jersey or whatever unless it's Pat Tillman, right? Other than that, you'll never see me. I'm just not that kind of guy. I'm blue and silver to the day I die. But I'll tell you, man, the way I grew up and my dad raised me, I watched a lot of the Cleveland Browns with Bill Belichick. So those teams, I think it's good for the NFL for them to win. Same with Detroit, man. I think they've lost for so long. You kind of feel bad for them, and now they got something going, man. I think it's good for the NFL. That's just the type of dude I am. It's just good for the NFL, and especially Dan Campbell. I think him going there replicates what Detroit is about, and I'll just leave it at that. But hey, gentlemen, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Hey, y'all have a good Sunday. Make sure y'all catch us on the next live and keep it real.
Yes, sir.